I see Jay there. I don't hear you. Yeah, we did this at an earlier time, so we'll see what kind of participation we get.
You can hear me now, right?
I can.
Yeah, Zoom didn't launch. This is weird. Yeah, I can only see like a little screen, and it's just I can see you. This is
Yeah, that's how it works, actually. You see little screens at the top with video, and then when you talk, you go full screen.
no. I'm saying all I see is you in a tiny little box, and that's it. I'm not seeing the normal Zoom.
Well, I haven't started a screen share, so that might
Maybe
be
that's
why.
why. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a little early yet.
2 minutes. Well, we start 10 ahead. So let's see here. We got few folks coming in. I'm gonna start the screen share now. Like we got a few folks over on YouTube.
Yeah, I figured some of it out now. It was yeah, it was like yeah, just minimized to just the smallest screen. Now I got it all looking better now.
Okay, good. Now I'm just trying to get to the right page here. I'm not sure how this video stuff. I'm trying to do something a little different this time. So I take it you folks should be on Zoom seeing the Russell.
Correct. Yes, we see the charts
The
now.
only thing is, I hate this Zoom stuff on the side. So we'll see how this all goes. So just know you guys are live on YouTube too. So if you don't want to be seen by the world, turn your cameras off. How about this rally, folks? There, I'll figure out how to get rid of that. So that's a good thing. So we're trading almost STX on the weekly Russell right now. And this Russell trade is just going off the map. This is long the IWM and actually putting a short PSQ out there against it. It's going to be a major trade. It's not over. Second here, I'm just letting some people into the room yet. Yeah, it was an email that just went out. Somehow I craftily set up the meeting last night at 11:30 p.m. last night. So while everybody was going to bed.
Oh, was there an AM and PM difference? I didn't catch that.
Well, no, it just happened. That's why. Yeah,
Oh.
anyway. So, all right. Yeah, see, Amy Fast, my very first manager was Ralph Fast in Chicago. It's influenced me a lot. He taught me how to fake it till you make it.
Only way to go, right? That's good.
Sometimes. All right, folks. I just want to check one thing on YouTube. YouTube folks, you are hearing me, I hope. I'm not seeing, let's see if somebody could chime in on YouTube, make sure you're hearing me all right, that would be awesome. And then we'll go ahead and take the meeting up. Yep. Yeah, so there won't be a live stream tomorrow, folks. Holidays, I'm actually going to be, for those of you hanging out with us right now, it's not a lot of us, so fairly intimate crowd. I am going to be, I'm trying to figure everything out right now, taking some time off. Usually every year, I take off the last 2 weeks of the year. I'm going to figure out some kind of schedule, something to keep us all connected to what the markets and what's going on and all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll see what's going on there. There's a couple things I'm going to layer in on the screen. You guys are seeing PortfolioXpert right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
For the YouTube guys, they said the sound is down or it's hard to hear. The volume's kind of quiet.
All right. Well, I just turned it up a little bit. Oh, I bet I know why. Let's see. Let's see if that works. Let us know on YouTube if it's working or not. I've got everything cranked. Should be. Might be the way I'm trying to do this meeting today. I wanted to get video on screen. Let me go. Yeah, we still have a few folks joining late, so I don't know if, yeah, so just to kind of continue along the line of the announcement. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, let me move the mic a little bit closer here. Okay. All right, Gino, thanks. Looks like it's a little better. I moved the mic a little bit closer in so that we can get a better microphone. So yeah, just chatting, still letting some folks in. We did a couple things differently today. I realized all of you East Coasters have been hanging out with us for a while. Thank you for your commitment to hang out late in the afternoon like you were. I didn't realize what I was doing to your lives. So we'll continue to try to do good. We're getting good sound on YouTube now, it looks like. So yeah, today I'm going to walk through a couple things. I know you folks have been around for a while, and I just want to, I'm looking at folks that are on most of the names that are here on Zoom. I know a lot of you folks have been around for a little while, and I'm going to bring you into the world a bit differently than I have in the past. So just bear with me. I'm still getting a couple of last things. There's still a few folks showing up, so we'll just keep chatting here before we get the meeting officially going. Yeah, might seem like a strain. Let me pause for 1 second. I forgot to get a water. Let me grab a water, and then I'll be right back, and we'll kick the meeting off. Okay? So bear with me 1 second. All right, good. Everybody looks like we had good sound, everything to go. Good deal. All right, we'll get started here in just a sec.
No Runa. You're going with water.
Okay, folks, everybody should be hearing me again. And we're going to kick off. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I think it's going to we brought you into the world of wave tech, the models, all of those type of things. So I want to bring you into a next level of thinking and philosophy. Second here.
Sorry, I was Skyping you the
Okay.
symbol list.
I saw that blinking. Okay.
I didn't mean to trip you up there.
Yeah, okay. No more interruptions. Thank you. Okay. So the yeah, I'll ask you for when I need stuff, Jay. So it's all good. So
Okay.
Anyway, what I want to bring in a little bit of philosophy into this meeting today, because I think it's important to understand when you start to go to the next level of the portfolio management. You know, we built in, I guess we'll say what I designed. I was the designer, not the builder. I had engineers and other folks to help me do this. But I want to bring you in some of the concepts that happened, and this won't take long to unpack this, but I think it's something that will be valuable. And sorry, there's just still folks, everybody's coming in late. So just bear with me a second. Wish I could have someone else do this part. Anyway, yeah, so what I want to bring you into is the world of what we're trying to, this is actually a pre-step to the next level that I plan on taking the community, taking the investment world. When I built the platform, it was never built to be an analysis tool. It wasn't to be, have pretty charts and put on your favorite indicator, all that kind of stuff. That's for TradeStation, TradingView. That's for those folks to do, and they do a great job at all that. There's plenty of platforms out there that do this. This platform was always designed for one purpose, which was to manage money and to automate the management of money. And this has been my goal going back to 1996, as when this synapse fired, that I could build this thing called the virtual portfolio manager. And it was pretty revolutionary at the time. I think it might still be, 25 years later. But what I want to bring you into is, and I talk about this a lot with our institutional folks, but now bringing this to you folks and retail, and I know I've seen some of the names. We have some institutional folks showing on the show today. One of the things that's really I want you to understand is the world of quants, the world of AI, the world of automating trading is so much better than the best trader could ever dream of being. And I've had the opportunity of working with, at least I'll say I worked with one of the best traders on the planet. I mean, I watched a good portion of them. They did start off with a nice stake, but I watched them turn $5 million into $1 billion. And it was pretty amazing, and just hanging around and watching this stuff. And they were good. And if they would have had this, it would have been amazing. And in fact, that particular individual was an original investor in the company going back in actually didn't come into about 2001 or 2. But the point of talking about this is the investment world, especially from portfolio management, mutual funds, ETFs, all those kind of things. They've been pretty static for a long time, and the concepts which people have been operating on have been very much the same thing. They've been operating under MPT, CAPM. There's all kinds of names if you went out in the portfolio world and looked at how people are allocating assets and all that. And ultimately, allocation of assets is what you do, but there may be some things that I'm going to show you today that are much more dynamic. And I decided, I think I have everything at my fingertips. It should go
fairly smooth, is at least the plan, is to be, I'm going to take and I'm going to dissect, and I'm actually working on video. I got part one roughed out on the weekend with covering Kathy Wood, who's we'll say she's a really smart lady, but the items and things that are in her ETFs weren't really that hard to find. They were you just had to believe that they might work and then put them into an investment item. And that's what I want to show you today is you don't even have to, you need to believe to a point, and then you let the models and all those things actually guide you. And a lot of folks, I've spent a lot of time with this product, 25 years of my life. And one of the things I want to bring into you, there's a lot of ways that you can approach this. And there's a lot of ways to approach this type of investing and all those type of things. But we're just coming into what I believe the new world is going to have to offer us, which was part of this is fractional shares. Most people think fractional shares are for putting $5 in the markets at Robinhood. Well, it's not. It's one of the things that we want to be able to roll out to everybody is to give you the ability which to run very sophisticated strategies, automate them, get it so you can transfer your ideas right to your broker-dealer and be able to make everything seamless. So when we talk about modernizing the, I'm not sure, Mason, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm getting like multiple entries from you. They keep coming in. Anyway, so the what I want to talk about today is just that, automating the investment community. One of the things that we talk a lot about, I just want to go through the website because I put a lot of thought into this website, and maybe you folks have read through it, but I want to unpack a couple of thoughts, and we're gonna move in. We'll move forward. But one of the things that when you look, you have to learn how to be different to be better. And I figured this out a very long time ago. Like I said, 1994, 96 is when this all came about. There's a couple things here that I wanted to discuss here. Is the first one is dynamic direct indexing. And I'm going to show you how to take what Kathy Wood did. I think I'm just going to use that as an example of what I want you to see, and to show how with a little bit of dynamic process around investing, what you can do in making the growth of money accelerate. And I know people are so tied into trading and doing leveraged funds and all that. There's a much more methodical way which to make money grow than a lot of folks realize, because you haven't had a tool like this before. And this tool is going to give you the ability which to do some things that I believe are going to be are going to be life-changing for a lot of folks. And our goal, my primary goal is to help people manage all. When I start my videos every night, I always say I want to help you manage your portfolios and protect your wealth. That's exactly what I've been doing through the investment community for a lot of years, and now we're bringing this out to them as well. Matter of fact, I think last week I brought in 2, possibly 3 new institutional players, and what we're seeing happening is people are starting to realize there is something bigger out there. So this direct dynamic indexing is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. So I am going to expand. So we're going to be in the beginning of this presentation. We're going to be continuing to talk about some philosophical things, and this kind of brings us into this thing. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 screens on this PowerPoint that I want to bring you into, and this is one of the most important things that I think that I can tell you today is literally just trying to have an adaptive approach to portfolio management. Most people, especially in the institutional world, mutual funds alike, they move some things around, but it's mostly allocation and moving this allocation from one spot to the next, and that's what it's all about. They're not, most of the community out there, I would say most of the investment community on a professional side, at least what they call professionals, that's questionable. That might be an oxymoron in some cases, is that, that you can't time the market. Well, we're going to trade billions of shares today, okay, just for the record. And nobody's buying and holding. That's the biggest piece of BS that's been out there for years. And it's been a way for investment advisors, in my opinion, to suck on the teat and to continue to charge fees to people for not doing a lot. And then whenever the market goes up and down, it's hooray when the market's going up, and it's it's not their fault when the market's going down. So this is a little bit different. The adaptive approach is really important to understand from that standpoint. So I'm going to talk about three basic things today. Basic portfolio construction. As I said, we're going to use Kathy Wood's construction and selection process as a way to start to build some things. Jay and I worked on a project, mostly Jay, and then I took some of his work and have played around with it myself and tried to enhance some of the things that, some ideas that I brought in to trying to take and put an automation behind a decision process. So, and we've talked a lot about this on the WaveTech training meetings in the past, in that we need to have a structure around selection of stocks, things of that sort. And I know there's a small community of people and that are working on trying to find ways to get the raw data. There's so much output out of the database every day, and WaveTech throws out, it's got almost 17,000 symbols. So there's a constant, this thing's just churning buys and sells out every day, looking at this immense database. And I talk about that on the videos every day. But when we start to talk about portfolio construction, there's some other considerations. I know everybody on the Zoom meeting is a subscriber, so you have access to our screening methodology. There's a lot of different ways to come up with ideas, but I'll talk just for a minute or two about portfolio construction. The next level that I want, the second thing here, is a multivariate portfolio decisions and how to trade the same symbol within the same portfolio on different time increments. And this brings in a dynamic that is really huge, and it triggers the next step that you see on the screen here, which is dynamic profit harvesting. And this is when you see reallocation trades inside of a strategy that you built. Now, this happens in WaveTech, but it can happen in a much more dynamic way with PortfolioXpert, because we can do things in Expert that we can't do in WaveTech. And I can just tell you, there is the next step beyond PortfolioXpert, whether it goes to Expert 2.0 or some other number or whatever it ends up being. There is a next level thought process, which I won't talk about today, but I will tell you that there are other things that are going to be done. Most of the things that I'm working on right now is how to automate and seamlessly get this so you can one click load up these symbols, all the trades, everything, and then click submit, and your brokerage account is updated. That's the plan, because I want this thing to be able, when you do this whole dynamic process, you need to be able to have it in a highly automated world. So what we're working on bringing you into gradually, step one was WaveTech, here's the buy sells. Next step, this is similar but has some dynamics that you can't create, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. And then the next level is 100% automation, basically a robo investor that you control. And there's a lot of robo investing platforms out there. They're all BS for the most part. They got pie charts. They're doing tax loss harvesting, really third grade math for the most part on everything that they do. So no one's really trying to figure out how to make and accelerate capital, trying to do some real dynamic things with individual stocks, and even ETFs can be used. But for the most part, we'll be focused on just individual equities are going to always be your best place. It will work fine on other areas for different types of investments. But going on to the next things, and we've done a lot of this stuff, and I know there's folks that have watched this and probably will watch the rebroadcast of this and understand that one of the things that we talk a lot about is style box versus thematic. I'm going to touch on, this is still in that portfolio construction concept. So I'm going to throw some concepts out here. And as we go forward, we're going to continue to bring in these philosophies, these strategies, and things into your investments, because this is really what's going to stabilize and help you to grow your assets over time. We're sitting here, Dow Jones printing 30,000, right? Who would ever thought that that's the case? I need to cover the Dow because the numbers and the projections for Dow Jones and S&P and these markets are pretty crazy right now. And, anyway, I'll stick to the presentation, but there's definitely some dynamic things that are going on in the world, and the entire world economies are actually what we're watching real time. What we're seeing real time, folks, is a complete restructuring of the world economy. And it's being the great reset. I'll do the air quotes for those that can see my video. It's the great reset. It's on Time magazine. It's everything's being reimagined right now. There's a lot of little terms that we live in the world. I call it's like a cheerleader world. The chanting that we see and everywhere on everything, and that's more or less what we're dealing with here. But one of the things, and one of my mentors when I was a pretty young guy, taught me about diversification versus concentration. And what we're going to be doing here with this product is we're going to be doing concentration with diversification, but the concentration is going to be the key element that we're talking about. That brings us into that dynamic profit harvesting, because that is where the magic happens in the process that we built. And I was just talking the other day with somebody, and I realized that my original partner, Dave Schaefer, and we accidentally did something. We mixed chocolate and peanut butter. We actually made the Reese's peanut butter cup only for portfolios. We were trying to solve an issue, which was how to reorganize portfolios when we had more ideas than we had money. That was our problem we were trying to solve. And out of the solution we came up with is what I talk about in this dynamic profit harvesting. And as it turns out, it's genius, but it was genius by accident. And and the reason why I say that, and I'm not calling myself a genius, I'm just telling you, we mixed peanut butter and chocolate, and it tastes really good together. What we did was by solving that issue, we created something that would harvest profits when markets were going up and reorganize portfolio risk. We reorganized just virtually every aspect of the internal makings of a portfolio. And one of the reports that I want, we have some of this, we've attempted this process in the past for our institutional clients, and it's funny because a few of them used it, but not very many. And it was a shame, actually. And I have a feeling that this community and what the new community as we go forward and we build this are actually going to use all this stuff. And I'm really excited about it because it's going to be really cool building this next level community up. We've had some amazing success thanks to all you folks. It's been really interesting. We've literally have thousands of people signing up for WaveTech, and now we want to bring the next level, and we tried to price everything out so that it would be usable for people. It's a serious product, and it's going to get more serious, and hopefully the efforts that I'm making is going to even make it way better and way more accessible to more people. I have a line that I talk to people that hang around, Jay and Mason and others that hang around with me. No, I always talk about investing used to be for someone, now it's for everyone. And that's what we're trying to do is with the fractional shares, with this dynamic process, is to bring in a new artificial intelligence that will help you to manage a lot of ideas and do it in a way that actually helps accelerate growth. But also, when things start to go down, it just gets you out of the way. I mean, it just sells out. Now, you can do some inverse strategies. We may look at some stage at how to short stocks and how to do some really sophisticated stuff. We addressed that, believe it or not, 20 years ago. And we made a decision at that time not to do short sales on stocks because the community that we were offering the product to, that we were pushing out, had very limited ability which to actually go short any stocks. Most of them have compliance departments and people that would not be okay with that particular strategy. So, all of the stuff that I want to go through this philosophical view because this is the introduction for this next level product. And what it's going to do for you is really, I believe is going to be amazing. And I know some folks out there have already been digging into this, and we're going to get into serious training on this, and this dynamic direct indexing is going to be huge. And, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to doing this. And hopefully we'll get the vaccines and everything, and we'll all hang out. We'll have a big conference, and we will we'll do some amazing things that will move all of our lives financially forward. That's my passion, and I've got a good run in me. Let me stay healthy and all that good stuff, and we'll do some amazing things together. That's what I guess that's what I pray for every day, just to be able to address this community. So multivariant trading has everything to do with trading short term, which would be a daily chart, weekly, and then intermediate, and then combining, this is what I was talking about just a minute ago, combining all of these allocation strategies all into one. And when you do that, when you get all of these things into one basket, it is phenomenal to watch unfold. It is absolutely amazing from, I guess when you start to see, just see this process happen in a real-time mode, what it really is about. So let's spin forward, because I touched on this before. This is the dynamic profit harvesting. I just want to touch on a couple things, and we're going to start to dig into the product. I'm going to start showing you some of this building, how to build one of these dynamic processes. We'll see where we go from here, and we'll just see how everything comes together as far as the presentation goes. So but the typical rebalancing is what happens is folks will have an allocation. They'll have 30% in this asset class, and they'll do an asset class, or maybe down to individual stocks, and then they'll just rebalance. They have a stock and go, oh, I really like this one. Don't like it as much as I used to, So now I'm going to just sell that, put another one in its place. So it's sort of like replacing items. Sometimes they'll downsize some things. In a more sophisticated environment, mutual funds and ETFs, they'll actually slice them and dice them a little bit. But even then, there's a lot of hardcore decisions being made. And when you start to get in, what I'm going to show you and what the software does, no human can do this, okay? It's not possible. You would take a room full of humans on spreadsheets to try to figure this thing out and to get all the orders in and all that. Because once this thing is fully pushed out and automated, it's going to be an absolute amazing change in how I think people will manage their money and what they're going to be able to do as they go forward. So typical rebalancing is like that. Keeping the integrity of the strategy has to do with the selection process, and we've talked about this in the past, where selection process to me is everything. I've talked to a number of people online and offline about this particular. This is a posture that I have, and everybody has a different way. I've already been privy to see some new approaches to the software, and that's goes to something that I said in 1998 when I started the very first company, was that all of the good ideas will come from our users, not from internal. Otherwise, we got some basic good ideas, but when people start using this software, then you'll get the next level of dynamics. And there's people on this line that have already figured out stuff, and there's going to be some amazing things figured out as a community. And that's really what I'm looking forward to the most, is getting that feedback. And everything we've done, by the way, over the last 20 years, a lot of the changes and things that have happened inside the software have been because of what our users have told us. Hey, I wish it did this, I wish it did that. I've been wanting something like what we have right now, a larger community, a fully engaged community that is really looking at this stuff, still trying to figure out the right venue on how to collaborate with you folks. And that I haven't figured out yet. Went through a lot of iterations. We set up a Facebook site, and I really haven't had time for that. There's been some other threads and that have been set up, and it's just trying to figure out how we can ultimately deal with that. It's probably not me. The problem is I'm the weak link in here, is I only have so many hours and time and energy to be able to do things. So we're going to figure out how to operate that community. But these dynamic rebalancing techniques that I'm showing you, and you folks at WaveTech have already seen this, and we've talked about this before, but we're going to create another level of this stuff. So let's see, I don't think I'm going to go through all this. Maybe you can. This is kind of the final page. Since I went this deep, I might as well finish this off. But, there are some steps that you need to do in utilizing this software, and this also goes just to WaveTech. And just so you know, if you're already a WaveTech subscriber, we're working on how to get, this is going out to WaveTech subscribers and the few people that stumble onto this thing. We're not doing any marketing or anything on this. In fact, we probably couldn't right now. There's only a certain amount of business that we're going to be able to bring in a methodical way, and we already saw with WaveTech, we got pretty overwhelmed in the first few months. And so we figured out some things there, and now we're working on the next level and making sure that the experience as you come into this, that it actually achieves what we're hoping it will achieve for you, and that we know it will achieve if it's done right. So a lot of this stuff, this has to do with the dynamic harvesting. And as I look at this screen, there's really not much that I can really talk about from that standpoint that's going to be useful here. So let's go ahead and let's get out of this page. And let's start to, there's something I'm going to bring up on the other screen, then I'll bring it over to you. So let's do this while I'm doing this. If you guys have any questions, then I can go, you know, I can answer a few questions. And Mr. Tater on YouTube, you should join us on over here on the other side so you could ask the questions. We've had good conversations. So anyway, all right. All right, so just one second, I'm bringing something up over here. Any questions out there? Yeah, Jeff Lane, I did talk a lot and showed you nothing, so that's okay. This is my show. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm going to show you all kinds of stuff here in a minute. You will see. This is end of day trading right now, Jeff. That's Jeff Harden. That is definitely, yeah. Yeah, so this is like what I just went through, so you folks know, is this is basically the 101 stuff. It's philosophical. If you're going to use this thing and you watch this and you sit through this, I think it's a good thing for you. Okay. So what I promised you we're going to do here, I'm bringing up an Excel sheet here, and I'm bringing up Kathy Woods. Some of you may know who she is, some will not. But she is an advocate of open, kind of an open community from the standpoint of doing research, doing free research from giving out all the research. Now, these companies, like I said early on, is none of these companies are like, you know, something that nobody else knew about. She just put them into a portfolio. So Jay did a lot of this work, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to build. I'm going to build with you. We're going to take some of these concepts here that Kathy Wood did. These are ETFs, so these are constituents out of ETFs. And Jay, I may have you come up and talk about these top 20, 30, and exactly, because this was your work that you did here.
Yes, it is.
So, and I think, you correct me, I'll let you, I'll go ahead, and this is what I believe happened is, as Kathy Wood, you can look and see the top 10 constituents in those ETFs, but we did two things. We built portfolios with her constituents, and then we also looked at the top performers within those ETFs. And what we're seeing here on these pages, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, these are the top performers from PortfolioXpert, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's on a weekly basis, I suspect.
Yes, I did. I did weekly models on these.
Well, that's your models. I'm going to show my models. I did different. I did
Actually,
weekly, daily.
I did daily and weekly, but then stuck with weekly on your advice.
I did monthly. I did everything. I did all kinds of stuff. I went in deep, but we're going to show you just a couple of things, and it's pretty impressive. There's a couple of things I probably should have built ahead of time, but I'm going to do a video on this, so it's okay. This is the plan to do a video. But what we've done, and I'm trying to find this constituent list. I guess I'll have to show you in PortfolioXpert itself, is I I built a bunch of these. I built a bunch of these in, and you'll see, let me resort this. All these ARC portfolios here. ARC G, I did daily, weekly, full list. I did a bunch of stuff. I think these are the ones that you built right here, Jay.
Yes, they are. Those are mine.
Yeah, so then I did some other stuff down here. I did what I call the T50. I took the top 10. She has 5 ETFs that she's done. And these are all, if you don't know much about her, these are disruptive technologies in 5 different areas of disruption in the economy. Everything from financial, of course, everybody, if you do know about her, you probably know about her because of her Tesla call. And, you know, maybe that was her 15 minutes of fame. As, you know, we'll see. But, you know, nonetheless, she's picked some stocks. We didn't pick them. We're just going to show you what you can do. And we've done this. I've got some of the other things that Jay's worked on. We've done some first bridge. We've taken other ETFs. And what my real goal here is to actually show you folks how you can take these ETFs and rebuild them. And if you have a broker-dealer, which you should have, if you don't have, fire the one you have, that charges no ticket fees. And you need to have, you know, free trading. And, you know, it'd be a little harder to get some of the orders in. I have a Robinhood account. There's no real easy way that I have found so far to pass trades in any kind of bulk order. It's a real pain in the ass. But there are some other methodologies out there to be able to do this. But I think if you look at a couple things here, I think I can actually just put one of those mutual funds up and compare that to a portfolio, correct, Jay? We should be able to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to.
All right. So I'm just going to pick this one. I'm going to bring this up. Oh, this is the other thing on the platform, since we're already getting into build stuff. Let me, somebody made a comment validly, you know, you don't even know what this is. So this is a piece of software that gives you the ability to run Portfolio Designer. If you go to our PortfolioXpert.com website, there's some videos that are worth watching. And I was talking to somebody last week, and they were saying that even if you're a Wave Tech subscriber and you don't want to upgrade here, there's a lot of concepts that I talk about in the videos that are going to give you the ability to, you'll learn a lot from those videos that will actually help you on Wave Tech as well. But you can do a lot of different things on this platform. There's a pretty intense data miner. You can build watch lists. You can review and stocks. Like I said, it was not built to be a research platform from that standpoint, where you have your own, you know, there's not RSI and MSAD. There's PPMs and there's PPMs. There is no validity whatsoever from that standpoint. So, but you know, there's no, that's all you get. And so as we go through here, you can go to portfolios, you can change portfolios, you can do all kinds of things here. You also have this, I'll show you this. So maybe you hate the dark theme, you can flip this thing over and do white. If you like the light theme, you can go that way. I happen to like the dark. I think it's easier to see. That's me. And you also, on this platform, just to give you full disclosure here, is you can change every color, every font, anything you want on this platform. There is a complete ability for you to change all the preferences here, and you can change everything you want on here can be literally customized. And the other thing you can do, and I'll show you here just as I just present the platform itself, is I can grab this expert chart over here. I grab this tab, and you'll see all of a sudden I can drop that chart. So I can customize every page, the layouts, anything I want. If I want, yeah, I'm not going to go through a full demo type, but this is all covered in those videos. But I can add views. I can go in here and put my active symbols here, and I can just take this. I'll slide this over on here. So any portfolio I look at, it'll give me what symbols are active, all kinds of information. This thing is pretty intense. There's reports that come out of this that will allow you to, I'm just double clicking. Yeah, right now it's got our old logo on here, but there's all kinds of, these reports get generated every night on your strategies. Everything comes out, and the other thing is you can change the logo, and so I can make this since we're doing. Oh, great! I didn't want to copy that. All I want to do here is open. So we just turn this into ARK Invest. So since we're doing Kathy, this is pretty appropriate. We'll just put ARK Invest up here, and if we wanted to, we could change the background, and we can make it all white up here. And now all the reports that come out will look like this. So you can white label it. You can put your own name, logos, or whatever you want. So that's fun part. We did that for our institutional clients so that they can when they're presenting to clients, it appears to be their software. It's something a lot of folks use this. So if you're an institutional client, that's real simple to do. And then when the reports are run tonight, that report I just showed you, it will actually have your logo on every report. So everything gets white labeled. And there's some other things that are out there as well. But anyway, but you get reports, you get your research button. You can go through all the different sectors and all kinds of stuff there. And then you have your watch list, so you can build as many of these things as you want. And I don't know that I have any queries. Maybe I do, yeah. So I have some queries. So I just want to look at some queries on, oh, I know, I was actually looking for something. I was actually looking for these things. Okay. Yeah, so this one's valid here. So yeah, so I can go in and I can set up all kinds of criteria, all that kind of stuff. So that's all the demo you're going to get. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to our portfolio default page. Now that's the other thing, is I have built a lot of custom pages, and we can also, here's a graph that's on here. I can also go in here and change this. If you like candlesticks, you can put it on the candlesticks, so you can do that as well. And all of the moving averages are static. You can't change them. Everything's here static that has to do with everything I show you on the channel. This will probably become dynamic down the road. Down here is here's the PPMs that you're so used to seeing on the ones that are on TradeStation that I put out there every night. So all of that stuff is out there. So, okay. So let's go back on this. Yeah, so like I said, this is the plan here is not to do a big demo here. Yeah, so I did put something up here. So this is, I guess this is RRG, not not Kathy's ArcG. But this is what we took Kathy. She only goes back to 2017. So here's 18. I guess I'll have to do a custom. We'll leave it at that. So looking back at 18, this is our view of the world with Kathy, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we did. This is just the ArcG top 20, I think, or top 10. Jay, you probably know this better than me.
Yeah, it's the top 10.
Yeah. So we took the top 10 stocks on this, and see, I wish, I'm just trying to think how, I guess I could just bring up the stock symbol and compare that, right? Can I compare?
Yes.
It's not going to, of course, it's not there.
Bob, can you clarify when you say top 10 based on your analysis or top 10 holdings which we have? Like, what do you mean by top 10?
Jay, you want to answer that?
I could barely hear him. I believe it's the top 10 holdings.
Well, he's saying, is it the top 10 holdings or the top 10 based on our performance?
No, those were the top 10 holdings from their website. Yeah, that wasn't just going through the performance in PortfolioXpert. But that was listed on their site and another site that I double checked, and that was the top 10 holdings in the ETF.
Yeah. So I just okay. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Michael?
Yes, it did.
Okay. I just see questions. Yeah, it is download just for, I did a little bit of a sales pitch, but there is a 14-day trial on this software. You can go right to PortfolioXpert and you can go down and I think it's under Open My Account, and be careful. There are 2 access points. One's a professional access and the other one is for retail. We're glad to take we don't want to take your money if you're not a professional. If you are a professional, you have to pay for the redistribution rights of the software. And those fees on the site only cover up to $50 million allocation. After that, there's additional fees. But the point of, so you can go there, you can download it, and it is a downloadable PC only right now. If you do have a special situation, we ran into an issue with a brand new Surface I've never seen the other day. We're still troubleshooting that, but for the most part, you should be able to use this. If you're on a high DPI screen, then contact us. We have a couple settings you can change to make it scale properly. So, and actually, I'll just make this comment that I'm actually really interesting that this platform that we're showing you Kathy on is a disruptive platform. And what I mean by that is all of our servers are open source. We use Linux servers. And this platform was built on IBM Eclipse, which is an open source platform. And that's, so that's all you have to, I guess that's all you need to know there, is that we're basically an open source environment as well. So we're actually playing into the disruption, and we've been open source since 1999. So that goes way back. As far as the servers go, and never paid Larry Ellison or Bill Gates any fees for their database. So let's take a look at a couple things here that I think will be interesting for you to look at, and then we'll actually show you how to build this strategy itself from a ground floor up. And let me just move something back over here. There we go. Okay, so so if we just look at the portfolio annual returns here, it's pretty great. You built this back. Okay, that's what That's what needed to be done. Okay, that's probably, I built mine differently. Let me bring up mine. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's weird. Did I see that went back to 2010? Because yeah, I did mine to 2017. Did I see that correct?
Yep, that
It
was
is-
yours. That ain't mine. These flags, I don't think. Yeah, see, I can't.
Well, that very first one, yeah, there was maybe it was transitioning from another portfolio because I saw 2010.
Yeah,
Maybe it was clicked on
that's
another
all right. Let me
portfolio
go
and
on.
as I
All right,
glanced.
that's okay. Let me go on.
Okay.
Yeah, so the so I think when I went back, yeah, these only go to 2017. So yeah, so when you go back and you go back 3 years, what I did was a couple things, and I'm going to show you folks how to do this and and so if you get the constituent list off of any ETF that's out there, you can actually go. You can take this and do exactly what I'm going to show you that I did with Kathy. So we're going to go back to this ARK Invest, and we're just going to grab. I'm trying to figure out, I had another spreadsheet and I don't know what I did with it. So I'm just going to do a top 30. Okay, this was out of all the ETFs. What I did was I took all of the ETFs, and she has a series of ETFs that she developed. So I'm going back to expert. What is it? G, K, Q. There's 4 of them. They each have a different identifier. I had all this laid out. I grabbed the wrong spreadsheet, so that's okay.
Yeah, there was like K and then F was another one.
Yeah. So each one of those are different disruptive type situations that are out there. But yeah, so we're going to just take and build one from scratch. So let's use Kathy, but let's talk about anything, any set of lists. I've even built strategies in the past that said, these are the top 20 stocks to invest in. So like you can Google like the top 20 stocks. Who cares who does it? Some outfit puts out their top 20 stocks, and what you can get them for like maybe 2017. So you could start in January 2017. You could actually put those top 20 in. You could Google another list and do a top 20 for 2018, 19, and you could build a list like that from something that simple. Or you could take the constituent list. If you took the top 10 out of maybe SPY, that might be a little too broad. That's more index based. But most of these ETFs, emerging markets, maybe EFA, some of these more tightly constructed, the top 10 on that list, all you need is the top 10 holdings. And it does change a little bit, but if you look at most of the long-term changes in these ETFs, depending on what they're doing, now it's something that's what's going to be interesting to watch Ms. Woods do, is how they rotate their strategies. Okay, that's going to be probably the most interesting thing. At what stage, when is Tesla just going up forever? Is this I've watched some interviews with Kathy, and she's talking about buy and hold and passive investing. Well, what I've seen so far of her changes in her portfolio is kind of passive with a different twist in a way. There's still a lot of core holdings here. So one of the terms that a lot of folks in the industry would talk about is this core satellite. So she's really doing more of a core satellite type investment strategy, and it's planning on doing some more work in dissecting exactly what kind of movements there are, but they're very subtle, very ETF-like, very structured environment, because when you're in an ETF environment, it gets harder and harder. You got to file everything. There's a lot of work to do in being an active manager within an ETF. And what we're showing you today is how to be an active manager and with an ETF and using those strategies, and the returns are pretty spectacular. So, but I'm just going to grab. So like I said, I grabbed these top 50, but I'm going to build a brand new strategy here, and I'm just going to go to the spreadsheet, and I copied these symbols here, and we're going to go over to the portfolio manager, and we're going to use our ARC portfolio manager. We're going to go to portfolio designer, and now there's two types of strategies that we allow you to do. If the next level, the VDOS, is much more sophisticated, meaning that we give you the ability, the user, to actually decide how much you own of each symbol, and you can do all kinds of dynamics, but it's more manual. We're working on a process right now. You can import and export all kinds of ideas into this software. So that's not what this is not a demo. This is an introduction to this, but we're going to use the capital demand model, which gets you to the front end of the presentation that I was showing you earlier, which was that dynamic profit harvesting. This model is the one that does that. So when I click on that, it gives me a wizard to set up, and those of you using WaveTech know that it's similar setup of the wizard, and I'm going to call this we're going to call this ARC presentation, if I could type. And we're going to hit next, and over on the right-hand side, you start to see this stuff fill in over on the right-hand side. You'll see the portfolio name, the type of portfolio, capital demand model. This is somewhat interesting, is the portfolio UUID, which is a unique identifier. If you know somebody else on the system, you can give them this number, and you can share your portfolio with them. They can put this number in the right place. It's pretty simple to do, and then they could actually follow your portfolio. They can't change them, but they can see everything that you're doing, and they could utilize them if you want to do that. We have the same functionality in WaveTech. I know there's a group of WaveTech folks hanging out. If you folks have portfolios that you want to share, you can actually share your strategies with others. They can see them, but they're read only, so they can't make any changes. Only the person that owns them can make changes to the strategy. So that's the purpose of this. So as we go through this wizard, though, we're going to go to next. Let's see, we got 50 stocks. I'm going to crank this up just to normalize it, and we're going to put $1 million into this portfolio. You don't need $1 million to trade it, especially if you have access to fractional shares. You could trade it with pretty much any dollar amount you want. Since I did $1 million, we've done this WaveTech stuff before. I'm setting it 10%, which is basically a 1% minimum. On this, we're also going to set to high activity. We're going to be very aggressive with these symbols. We just want to use the money very aggressively, and you can choose these portfolios. So you could build 3 portfolios, and you could see the differential by changing this allocation factor. And Jay and I will both tell you, you can play with this allocation factor and step it up and cause that dynamic profit harvesting number to go up a lot, and that can be build a lot of extra profits well above and beyond what the model is going to do. The algorithm that's in the software right now just basically says it wants to target 100% of the use of the capital. It doesn't tell it that it wants to allocate 20% of the time or 30% of the time. And that's going to be a new functionality that's going to be added at one stage, and actually optimized value for the profit harvesting. But for now, you have to kind of tweak the number and play with yourself. And this is like a sandbox you can play in when you're building these. So we go to next, management fees. This is for money managers. So this is where the easy part starts. And we're gonna build this thing. I'm gonna do multiple iterations very quickly on this. So the goal here is not is to show you what the software is capable of. So I took that list just now that I copied from this spreadsheet right here, and I dropped that list into this box up here, and I have it set for optimize weekly. So I'm going to add these symbols in, and now what you're going to see, ARCT, BABA, CDNA, all of these symbols are in there, and what's happened is it's actually been optimized for the best trading model or the best total net profit that our models have generated for each one of these. Now, these aren't hindsight. Nothing has changed in our logic going back to around 1996. So it is actually nothing's been changed. So these are all trades that would have happened going back, anything moving forward from 96 on. There's a thing called in sample, out of sample. Every trade that you see in this model, and any of the models, are out of sample for the most. They've never seen, meaning they've never seen the data before. They're making decisions not based on hindsight, but based on the patterns that it sees. So anyway, we get this, we got it in for weekly. We're going to go next. And now what just happened, I know this, you're not going to see this on the screen with a non-trained eye. What it said is it ran that algorithm with high activity, low liquidity, means not very much cash. We want to be as aggressive as we can. And what happens here is it figured out on each one of these symbols that we put in, there's a total symbols right now are 26 symbols, and we're trading them on a weekly basis. So intermediate only is a 0.075834. We actually go out 6 decimals. So if you're doing, and when we deliver orders as well, we also will take things out 6 decimals. So ultimately, we are already set and ready to roll on fractional shares down the road. And so that's positive, especially when we get this thing automated and you can pass these trades on. But anyway, so the allocation factor 07. So all I have to do now is hit finish, and it says your portfolio is being saved and updated. So here it is already. Matter of fact, we must have hit it just right. It's already ran. It takes a nanosecond to run this. So we've got, so we can do a couple things. And I may, just a comment, can you folks see this blue on black? Is that easy to see, or is that hard?
It's okay to see on Zoom.
I think it's okay. It's
Okay.
good for me. I don't
Yeah,
wanna speak
I'm just
for
looking
everyone.
at the YouTube view, and it looks. Let me flip it over on the theme to light for a minute. That might be easier. Yeah, that looks like that's probably easier. Yeah, so this is the strategy. This is a 1 month look back. So this is for October 20. So I took those. What did I pick? The top, well, it was 27 stocks. It wasn't quite top 30, but 27 stocks from Kathy Wood's, all of her strategies that she has, put them in here. And this is just a 1 month return. We can go to 3 month returns. The blue line is SPX, and then you'll see it'll start to gap out here. This is year to date. And what do I have CGL on here? That's not what I want. Hang on, folks. Something got tweaked here. Now we got it right. Let me try it again. Somehow I got the wrong symbol. Let's do this again. I think when I clicked over to white. So this is, ARC is the blue. This is 1 month. 3-month, now you can see ARK is up 20%, market's up 8%. This is as of last night. Go 6 months, ARK, these are the top 30 in ARK. And so now we're up 55%, market's up 20%. And now we go year to date is interesting. Market's up 10. This is S&P. I guess we could, let's drop, let's put NASDAQ on there. Here's the NASDAQ is green now. And so now it's up 140. And now we start to go out. This is a 1 year look back, which is about the same as we're getting close to the end of the year. We go out 2. Now you can see markets up 30, up to 75. And it starts to get crazy from here. Now we go 5 years, up 925% versus the market, NASDAQ up 125. And let's see here. Yeah. So, I didn't set the date back, Jay. I did that real time. I did not set it back to 2017. That's pretty funny.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
No, that's pretty funny, actually. So a real time screw up. So let's go and change that. Because I'm going to go in here and edit this portfolio. Now, I want to do this anyway. So you got to look at that. But what I wanted to just go back. Look, I went back inception date to 2015 here. So what I want to do is I want to move this to, I don't know, Jay, do you have a way, can you look and see when those portfolios started by chance?
I know they started January of 2017, but some of her ETFs didn't start till March, I believe.
Okay.
But
We'll go-
I just started them at the beginning of 2017.
Okay. All right. So that's what I'm doing. So I just changed the date. I'm going to update everything so we don't have that extra stuff back there. So I can go in and change this. I'm going to leave all the settings I had before exactly as they were. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to update this thing. And now I'm leaving everything the same. So I just hit finish. And the way that our servers work, nothing's going to change on the screen, by the way. Only thing that will change here, when I go, you'll see on the chart now, there's a mismatch. The indices start, this doesn't start till January, the blue line doesn't start till January of 13. So now they're all synced. So this is the weekly trading model with Kathy's top 27 stocks out of all of her strategies. And I think, Jay, if I'm right, that's probably the top 27 performers from our viewpoint, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. From our system, yes.
But hang on. So this list here, I came from here, top 30 alt ETFs. Was that the top? Okay, yeah. That must be it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I tested all those out in our system, but out of those, I put those were the top performers from our system.
Got it. Okay. So and I think I took the top 10. I built another one. I built the top 10 just with the top 10 from the constituent list as well. So that just gives you another way. But you can do all this stuff. That's fine. There's a way to do that. The goal is not to show you all that, but just to go back to Expert is to show you what that looks like. So what we want to do, we have a sandbox to play in now. We built this ARC presentation. So what we're going to do is go back in this portfolio here, and I'm going to edit it just like we did a minute ago. And it goes back to 2017 now. So I'm going to click through, and I want to get to the place where I can put the symbols in. So now I'm going to go to what I talked about in the first part of the presentation, and let's start seeing if we can build a multivariant approach. And what I mean by that, we're going to trade the same symbols both on short term and the intermediate. So we're going to trade them off weekly charts and off daily charts. Now, since I just want to make sure I have the right constituent list, I'm just going to go back and grab this list off of the spreadsheet so I know I have the same thing. Go back over here. I'm going to pump these things right in again. Only this time, I'm going to go optimize daily. And you could get very detailed here if you become a pro user, in that you can actually do everything you need to do, such as you could change and instead of this, you see in this drop down, you could research the individual symbols and say, you know what, I like 1-2 better. The optimize is 3-2. I'd rather go with 1-2. You can do that. The other thing you can do on this platform is I can go in and click on this symbol here, and I can add what we call start stop dates. Otherwise, I can trade this symbol for a period of time, stop trading it, add a new one. So I can take things in and out, and that's there's a pretty good video on the support area on the website on how to do that. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put these, right now you see ARCT weekly and then BABA. So I set this to daily optimize, and now I'm going to add the same symbols again. And now what you're going to see is ARC weekly 1.2. Now it also shows daily 1.2. Okay. And I'm going to let so we've got all the symbols in there twice. Each symbol has 2 different models attached to them, one daily, one weekly. And what you're going to see happen from here is that I'm going to show you the trade list, which I should have already done actually. I'm going to do something. I'm going to cancel all this because it's pretty simple to get here. I want to show you folks something before I do what I'm about to do. So this trade log, I want to show you the trade log. These are the reallocation cells, or that dynamic profit harvesting. So I want you to see that. This is what this looks like. So that's just all weekly trades. Okay, I want to make sure. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back to where I was very quickly. I'm going to edit the portfolio and just going to click through till I get to where I want to be. I'm going to add those symbols back to where I was a minute ago. Change this to daily, and now I'm going to add them again. Now you see them in there double. Go next. Now something magic just happened, and I know the screen just flashed. So what's highlighted right now, it says use recommended value of 07874. Now if I take that, that's going to keep that same allocation amount, and I am going to, for fun, because we're playing, is I'm going to write down this other factor, 07834. The original factor I just wrote down, but I'm going to click on here and use recommended. So when I click on that, it fills that space in. So I'm going to change the allocation down to from 0.07 down to 0.0358. I'll talk about that once we get done. So it's all set. All I have to do is hit finish. And this thing is, let's see if we get a purple line. It should turn colors here once it hits the Q. I've got my cursor on that right now. I think it'll turn colors, or
It normally does, but I know you should see it with the black
I'm just
background,
getting
but
lucky, man. I'm nailing this thing right as it.
I think so, because yeah, it should turn purple, but I always use black, so I didn't know if the purple still goes on the white. I assume it does.
It does. Yeah, so what happened is I must hit that thing right before. It takes a nanosecond to run all this stuff. What happens with all of the symbols in our database is that all the models already run. So once we tell it what models to be run, so they run every night and update, and they store all the trades back to the first day of trading. So when it already knows when it buys and sells, it's got everything stored in the system, so it already knows it. And if I remember right, Jay, by chance, do you remember? That's what I meant to check also, what the year to date was before I did this. I think it was 140 something.
I didn't even see it. I was answering some questions on YouTube. I
yeah.
didn't see what it was.
Yeah, so my bad on that. Yeah, I wanted to compare so now if you notice we have 52 symbols in here, and then if we go to the chart, then
Rom's saying that, yeah, the 1 year was 140%.
yeah, so by adding the dailies, we gain nothing on the returns. Thanks, Rom. Yeah, so this is why you have the sandbox, and Jay and I were playing with this. For the most part, the weeklies seem to do best without doing anything else. That's not always the case, but sometimes it does. And if anything happened, if I go down below here and go to the monthly returns, probably 2020 returns in April, during this April, May, because a lot of the short-term signals came on in April and May. That was the big difference. And you can see here, if we just look at 2020, January was up 9%, up 5% in February, down 4% in March. And these are some high-flying stocks that we're talking about here, by the way. Then up 14, up 20, up 9, 11. We had September was a negative month, up 5. So far, November, 9.1%. Total for the year is 130. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this process going one more level, and I don't think we'll gain much out of this, but I'm going to edit the portfolio one more time. And I'm just showing you how to build these multivariate, and so you can come up, the plan is this is a sandbox that you can go in and start to build these things out from just to see what they'll return, and then you narrow it down. Jay's a master at that. He's got way more patience than I do. I have the patience of a gnat. And so Jay's much more patient and much more methodical on a lot of this stuff. So if it's real detailed, unfortunately for him, I always say, hey, could you do this? So,
well, I get that from all my modeling, the military models and the sci-fi models. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, so we'll go back to the symbols again. I'm going to put them in there for the third time just for fun. And this time I'm going to choose the optimized monthly. So what I'm doing is I'm doing daily, weekly, and then I'm doing monthly models. So we have secular trades, long-term, intermediate, and short-term. And so now you see we got 1, 2, daily, weekly. Once I hit this optimize, I add the symbols. Now they're going to be in there 3 times. And you could go really crazy. I've never done one of these where I put every model that there is. So we have 2 models for daily, 2 models for weekly, 2 models for monthly. I've never taken and said, I'm going to put all 6 in there and let it go crazy and trade. I've never done that. But this is usually the methodology here. So now there's 2 things I'm going to do. And you know what? I'm actually going to kill this again. This is called live demo. What I want to do something else. If you recall, when I did this, the last iteration, I wrote down the old factor. I let it go with the lower factor, and we went from 144, I think, to 130. So what I'm going to do here is go to Edit. And this time, I'm going to go all the way to the end. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to leave daily, weekly in. And instead of this 03874 number, I'm going to put a manual number 075834. I know this is getting a little deep here, but I'm just gonna do it. So now what I did was I took the original allocation factor, left it on the 52 stocks, and it looks like it's already updated. Yeah, so we went from 130. That increased the returns by 4% is all. This time I paid attention. So we went from 130 to 134. So what happened there most likely is we hit some of that dynamic allocation factor. I might be able to just play with that factor, leave the daily weekly in, up the allocation factor up maybe to 10%, and maybe get it to the original 140. But we're going to have a lot more trades. So in the end, there's a number of questions. I'm getting way too deep in here. But the number of questions that have to be asked is, do you want to do that many trades to get the same returns? The answer is probably no. Okay, but these are the things that you want to walk yourself through so you can start to see what's going on. So now what I'm going to do is edit this portfolio. I guess what I could have done is cloned all these. I could have shown that, right? That would have made it even better. So
That would have been the way to go.
that would be, and matter of fact, this one I'm going to do that. So instead, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to clone this portfolio. So now I'm going to call this, so that was everything. No, so this is going to be DWM. Okay, so this is going to be daily, weekly, monthly. So this is going to be the full deal. So now what I'm doing now, there's the purple.
There's the purple. That looks cool.
So the purple is on, what it's doing is taking all the things that I've already built. Now it's done. It's built. It's got the same return. So let's go up and let's do an edit on there. Now we're going to edit this one, and we're going to add the monthly in. That's what I was about to do. If I haven't completely confused you folks, I won't believe it. But anyway, so we're going next here, and we're just going to go down to add those symbols, and we're going to put them on all levels now. It should still be in my board. Yep. So now I'm going to add monthly, and we're going to add the symbols. Now we got daily. We got weekly, daily, and monthly on ARCT, the same on every symbol. So now we went from 27 symbols to 78 total symbols to trade. And what we're doing is allocating each piece of this portfolio on different levels of allocation and also on multivariant decisions. So we're making short-term decisions, we're making weekly decisions and monthly decisions on the individual stocks. And then the next level, what's happening is we're also rebalancing portfolios based on some of those decisions that are causing things to go on. Yeah, if you took, Mr. Tater, good question. I'll answer your question in a minute. So, yeah, so all we have to do is go next, and then we have another decision to make. And now, because we have 78 symbols, it wants to do a 0.02, is we have more symbols to trade. We have a 100% pie chart that we need to fill up. And there is a way, not on this particular model, but there is a way that you can actually force it to go on margin. So you could have your Robinhood account and go 40% on margin. But at 0.25 will do that. I'm going to click on that. I'm going with 0.25 since this was a clone portfolio, and we're going to see what it looks like. We hit finish. And yeah, so we actually gained a couple of dollars. We're now at 137,718, 717. So the returns did go up slightly. Still the best was the original which was the 148. That was the original. So what we could do is go up here, ARC presentation. We're going to clone it again. I'm just going to make a mess here. We're going to call it clone weekly only. So this is when you're playing in the sandbox. This is the kind of stuff that you can get out of here. And there's our purple again. And so we're going to rerun this portfolio weekly only. So now I'm just going to go in here and edit this portfolio. Just want to see what we have in here. It goes back to 17. Yeah, see, this has daily, weekly in here. So how are we going to do this? I guess I'm going to have to build. There's no way to delete all these out, is there, Jay? Oh,
yeah, you just highlight each of the dailies and then click the delete.
Yeah, I already screwed it up, so I just
or yeah, quickly delete everything and just reload your.
That's what I'm doing.
Your symbols.
Yeah, I already walked myself into that hole. Yeah, so all I'm doing is I'm deleting all the symbols. Now I'm going up here and I'm going to paste them in, and I'm going to do optimize weekly, add symbols, and there they are. So you folks have been watching this thing. We're back to the 07834 number. Same old. Now we run that, and weekly only. Right now shows 134. We'll update. There it goes, 140.134. So as it turns out, that was our best iteration of that particular strategy.
Can you try the daily and weekly optimized as well?
We did not do that. We did not do that. So let's clone this weekly only, and let's call it. We did not. Did we? I think we did do daily, weekly. Yeah.
No, but you did daily, weekly at the same, but you didn't like optimize daily, weekly.
Yeah.
I think the daily, weekly optimize might give that result.
Okay. There we go. So now we got this one. So now I'll edit this. And yeah, so, but this is the process of going through this thing, trying to, this is going to be daily, weekly. That's good. Yeah, I think maybe we did this, but maybe not. But what I would do here when, that was brilliant.
Mean differently. I mean, not adding, like, not like you do it, but optimized daily and weekly.
I got where you're going at there. Yeah, so. So what you're saying, Jay, is I can just highlight all of these like this and delete them, right?
Yeah, correct. I've never done them all at once, but as they're highlighted, then it deletes.
There it goes, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that, yeah.
All right, so so paste. So I get what Michael's talking about. Is that let's just do daily, optimize daily. We didn't do that. So 07534. That's that number is going to come up the same. Sure. Yep, it should do it. Let me go back one. I just want to make sure. Yep, daily models. Okay. So that's the DW, but it's really just daily. We'll see, it's 140, 134, 115. So weekly wins. Weekly optimize is the winning strategy. This is 115. It was actually the worst, and probably, it's not even the not even the best returns by year, I don't think. Yeah, so it's interesting that the weeklies worked out on those stocks, but that's the kind of what you can go through a lot of iterations. You can see it's very quick to go through all this stuff and to build these, and then you've got, you've got all the other reports that you can go through in here. I'm just trying to, so we can look at rolling returns and different types of returns and reports on this and what's going on. Only had this whole portfolio only had a few. Oh, this is the daily too, isn't it? Let's go to the weekly. Weekly only. I bet you weekly never had a negative return. Yeah, no negative returns ever on trading weeklies going back. This just shows you 19, but if we go back on the...
Can you show symbol returns to see that there is no negatives there?
Sure. I think we can go to the trades there. The symbol returns. There you go. Yeah, so it tells you how many trades there were. All of this stuff is all broken down.
Hi, Bob, it's Wayne.
Yeah.
I think it's good to explain the ER symbol ratio versus the ER portfolio ratio.
Yeah.
That's really handy to know.
Yeah, it is. Thanks. The other thing you can do with this is you can actually sort it as well. You can sort it by name, trading system, all that good stuff as well. But yeah, so there is two things to look at, especially on the WaveTech folks. And if you're both inside, when you're looking at symbol returns, you get the returns on the or the ratios. The ER ratio on the research is different than the one inside the portfolio. This is only going to be the ER ratio since 2017 when we started this strategy. So that is a little bit different. It gives you, actually, I think in a way, it gives you a better view of the ER. A lot of times, and you go back and some of these stocks have been around for a while, you'll get kind of skewed because the initial IPO offering or something was a big trade, and then, then everything else maybe didn't work out as well. This way you can throttle these symbols into seeing a more precise, at least a more recent ER ratio. See, this is what I was talking about. I know you came in just a little bit late, Wayne, today, probably because you expected us to do things at the same time we always do it. But that's why we've got to find a really good way to have the community to be able to figure out things and ways to do it and communicate and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go back to dark theme here. I think that white beats me up pretty fast over on this side. So I think I'm just trying to think what else I can go through. A lot of the stuff is things that you folks already know on from WaveTech. So it's just WaveTech on steroids, especially on the portfolio side. Just from what you can actually do with it, it's pretty powerful. And I know, Wayne, you've been using it for a little bit now, right?
Yeah, I've been using it for a while now, and yeah, it's good. It's like you said, it's WaveTech on steroids.
It is.
But like for designing portfolios and doing exactly what you just showed before, you can go through every different scenario and pretty much work out, like a daily, weekly strategy, multivariant, and work out the best returns you're going to get on and how much you actually want to trade it. If you want to be doing trades every day, or if you don't, if you just want to do it weekly, it's very handy to work out, the differences in the returns you can actually make. Also, I found Jade showed me something the other day about when you make a portfolio. If you just say have some stocks that are laying around, you just want to have them there and make them passive. Maybe you should show that as well.
Yeah, you could, yeah, that's fine, yeah. So if you just wanted a list, matter of fact, I wonder what happened if, that'd be kind of interesting, do a clone. Let me get back to, let's take ArcG, and we're gonna clone portfolio as passive. So what this will do, we'll take those 10 symbols and just make them as a buy and hold. And I always talk about this is there's a couple ways to look at the world, and the way that the way that I look at the world maybe be different, but I think when you look at your returns, there's two ways to evaluate your success. One is, and I think it's the primary one, is how to make sure that looking at the amount of risk you took to make the money. So how much risk did I take to make the money? And how much risk am I willing to take? So typically a buy and hold strategy. So what I did here, it's interesting, if you did ARC passive, you made 140%. And then if you do the ARC top 10, you made 148%. And let me get rid of a couple things here and see if we can blow this up and see what we come up with. Let me get rid of the indexes on the bottom. So let's take a look at this. This is a 3-year look back. Now the green line is passive and the blue line is the dynamic. So for the most part, we were able to stay above the green line, which is just the buy and hold on those stocks. So in the end, you can see the net NAV going from January 2018 forward is 275 return, just buying and holding those stocks. And I suspect if we were to put that fund on there, since Kathy's taking fees out of that fund, I'm sure it would be much different yet. Jay, is there a way we can put a stock on this same stock? Same, you know?
I think you can. I have, you mean like for comparison on the chart?
Yeah, just a overlay. I guess I have to have it on the screen somewhere to get it, right?
I think so, because I've only done it with the portfolio charts or the portfolios, but not symbols themselves.
Yeah, I've seen symbols somehow. I forget how to get there. Yeah, so we need the, yeah. Anyway, what would be interesting to see, and I could do it, I'm just trying to think, but it would be interesting to see what the actual ETF looked like in this same scenario. And that's something that I'm going to build out for the video, saying here's the ETF returns, here's the dynamic returns, and then here's the passive returns. And the passive is going to be, my guess is, in the middle. When you start, I don't know, Jay, did we look at, I haven't really torn down the funds really hard, like to put a fee in there.
No, I did not include that so far. I put 0 fees right now.
Yeah, so, but I mean on her stuff. So here's something we can do though. I'm going to edit this thing, and we can put, let's just say she's a really nice person, and she's going to put a management fee in here of 0.25%.
Yeah, Bob, I think her fees are like 0.75. I think it's quite high on
Is
that
it?
ETF.
Let's go. I think you're right. I think you're right. I can't imagine she's that nice. Okay, so 0.75.
You put in transaction fee, not
Oh,
management
yeah,
fee.
thank you. Thank you. See, what would I do without you guys, Michael? We'll get down to management fees down here. Yeah, so now we put in 0.75. This is annual. So yeah, so let's, and this is on a passive, so this will be.
Looks like you haven't deleted the transaction fee. It's still in there. Still 0.20.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Zero.
Why won't let me go next? I got to put
Zero.
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 Yeah,
Just
yeah.
put zero inside.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have you do have to have a value. Okay, so now we go next. Now we have 0.75, and then we'll go finish. And I'm not sure I did the right one. I thought I did. Yeah. Yeah, so re-out. Passive. Oh, look, it had to reallocate. Interesting. User start. So management fees. Yeah, it didn't take much out of it. I thought it would have been a little bigger bite, but it's not very long. Yeah, so let me make this full screen so we can see it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I did it right, but yeah, you can see there's a bit of a difference. It's about 20, about 15, 18%. So it's more than 0.75.
Hey Bob, it's Wayne. I think when you did the daily, weekly, and stuff like that, there was one scenario I don't think you did do is if you pick them same symbols and you actually let the system pick the daily, weekly. That
Oh
makes
yeah,
that
I
makes a huge
didn't.
difference.
Yeah, that might be interesting too.
That'll blow all that away and make that heaps better. I know that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, so see, that's like I said, what would I do without you guys? Yeah, so we could go and clone this guy. I don't want to clone that one. I want to clone this one. And you know what? I don't even want to clone it. I just want to do a new one. So we're going to Portfolio Designer. It's going to be just as fast. We'll name it similar. And we'll call it ARC Full All OPT. So now we'll go here and we'll set this back to 17. Now we'll leave it 100K. Should work out fine. Just change this to high activity and so now, as Wayne suggested, we're going to go optimize daily, weekly, monthly. Just let it do it. Let it figure it out. Let the system figure out what's best. So we add in the symbols, and there we go. Look at that. Some daily, some weekly. So it chose the best model for every symbol. Good on you, mate. All right, so, and we came up with an 8%, so it's a little better, higher allocation with the raw here. And all of these were around 148% returns. And Mr. Tater, you're out there. I know you're still waiting for me to answer your question. And this is, I ran this at 100,000, so that was going to answer your question. Okay. What did I call it? Didn't I call it ARC presentation? Oh, here it is. ARCall. That's the one, right?
No, Bob. The one it's higher. Like you have to scroll up.
Oh,
What ARC? The first one, ARC RKG, the 148 one. No,
yeah.
no. It's only 10 symbols.
Is it the arc all? What's that? OPT? I'm having trouble reading it. Arc all. That's 26 symbols. Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, I'm sure. Why can't I see this thing?
Right. You, you just passed over it. Arc all. It was an OPT. Is that the one?
Yeah, this is the one. All OPT.
And this old dude is nuts.
120.
Oh, why don't I see it? You guys are looking at it, right?
Below, like ARC all OPT, like here with the free
Yeah,
orders.
Keep going down because you were hovering over it a second ago. Yeah, keep going down.
Yeah. Oh, I see
Yeah,
it.
Bob,
Now. I see
right
it.
below the.
Right
Right.
there. That's the one.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, so it's 110. So still that damn weekly is just hard to beat. That weekly one's hard to beat. And, and this is a short look back period, a little bit over 3 years, right? Or about 3 years. So this is interesting from that standpoint. All of it's going to beat it out. So let me get rid of this. Hang on. Yeah. So if you went from so I'm trying to answer Mr. Tater's question. So if you went and started on 2017 and you put 100K in, it's almost $1 million. So I think you could afford expert on that. But if we go to year to date, is that right? 1 year? Why is, yeah, year to date. I'm gonna have to look at these. Oh, I do need to put this on here to get the number. So yeah, if you started, you're looking at 110% return on your 100K. So you made 110,000 if you start a year in or beginning of the year. Going forward, that I can't answer. Good news, if this is the difference, and this is one of the things I'm anxious to track as we go down the road, is taking one of these funds and tracking it. Well, the market eventually someday will actually go down, or these symbols will start to go down, and there will be a retracement, and the ETF will take a hit. What I want to see is how dynamic will they move around the assets within the ETF. They have not been tested on this thing yet. So, there's been some downside in early 20, but if you look at the ETFs, they just spiked down and spiked right back up. So there's been no real test of that. There has been some times, here's 2019, and yeah, I just need to get, this was I just wanted to show you folks how you could take and use all this dynamics and start to build some strategies out that are going to some strategies that will help you to actually get involved with the platform. The other thing you could do is you could just put one symbol in there and let it trade short, intermediate, long term, and you'd have a core position, you have a long-term position, maybe a short-term and intermediate, and you could just trade 1 or 2 or 3 stocks. It doesn't have to be a lot of symbols to do that. I think one of the things that I put up here, I did see it somewhere here, Apple single stock. So I don't know I'm not sure what this looks like. I want to edit this thing and just see what we're looking at here. Yeah, I don't know if it's, yeah, so it's trading all three. It's doing exactly what I was telling you about. It's got 3-2 daily, this one did 1-2-3-2 daily. Yeah, I was just playing with this. So you could take one symbol, maybe 3 of your favorite stocks that you use, and trade them, and then yeah, you could just use this as a way for the trade signals for each one of these. So, all right. Well, I think that you folks that are on here, do you have any questions that you'd like me to? Talk about?
Bob Swain. In WaveTech, when it says you've got a buy signal, it sort of indicates, like a price where it would be when you buy it. Where is that on PortfolioXpert?
I don't know if it's in there.
I haven't seen it.
I don't think it is where it's showing you the maybe in the trade profile. There's a couple things that are on WaveTech and are not in. This thing was designed primarily for the next level portfolio management, but there are some things such as the output on the WaveTech. The good news is if you get an entire, when you sign up for this, you get the entire suite of products. You get everything. We give you the kitchen sink. If you buy PortfolioXpert, then you get everything. You get WaveTech, the screening, all the daily market grids, all that kind of stuff. All of that happens. So that's exactly what So you do have that kind of a pain. I don't know that. Jay, are you aware of that? I don't know if it.
Can you repeat the question
Yeah,
one more time?
so
I think I understood you, but I want to make sure.
When you get a new buy signal, is there a way to see what the projected numbers are?
The projected numbers.
You're talking about the individual symbol, right, Wayne?
Yes, on an individual symbol. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's there because in WaveTech, we're going to show you, here's the expected returns forward looking in the, I don't know, it should be on the trade profile. So Wayne, are you familiar with this thing here, show view?
Yeah, yes.
Let's look here, portfolio, trade profile.
Yeah, because that's what I'm looking at here myself. But it's showing the portfolio as a whole, not the individual.
No, it shows right here, symbol trade profile.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, so this, I'm just trying to find.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at the portfolio trade profile, not the symbol.
Yeah, so I think in this window here, if you put this up, but I'm trying to get to an individual symbol somewhere to get this to work. Let me just go over to symbols here real quick. Symbol trade profile. So it does show you this. This is what you're talking about, right? Where the symbol.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. It's too hard to see, but yeah.
Yeah.
It shows all the returns there. Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah, so you have to go into Windows, Show View, and then down in Symbols, these are all the reports you can get. So the only thing that I'm aware of that is not in the on the PortfolioXpert software is that raw output that we put out on WaveTech. And that when, let's see here, this stuff right here, when we get.
Yeah, that's definitely not on it yet.
Yeah, that's not there. And what I really want on this is something even more dynamic than this. Been working on a little side project where, like when you go to PortfolioXpert, when you go to the dashboard, right? hopefully I'm signed in. Amazing enough, this almost looks like a local lake up here. Very similar. Come on. Sometimes when I'm screen sharing, this thing is super slow. Like really slow. Like it's never going to work slow. Anyway, yeah, so, but yeah, I would like to have a dashboard that goes a little more into depth. We did build that. Yeah, that thing's still grinding. I have no idea what's going on there. Yeah, so, but that's the one thing that's not there. Most everything else is there. Also, this position overview. This whole dashboard here doesn't exist in PortfolioXpert. So you do have to go through that. And I do cover this every night in the video, so that's an easy place. But you can see it whenever you want.
Yeah, like I just use both. I have one open on one side, one monitor, one open the other. It's really handy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, as do I a lot of times. So I've actually got my monitor fetish under control. I used to have six heads on one and 3 on another, and I had like 5 computers on my desk. I'm down to 2, which is pretty amazing for me. So, any other questions out there? Yeah, so just remember there is a 2-week trial, so you can try it out. You decide not to go forward, that's easy. You can spend a lot of time with this thing. It can definitely take your time, but it hopefully is worth it from the standpoint of being able to build some strategies and everything. I know in the past we've talked a lot about the getting the ability which to do match up your current strategies and transfer over and getting all that stuff. We spent a fair amount of time on that stuff.
Real quick, I want to ask, and also David in Zoom had asked the same thing. He asking about how to get the orders emailed to you.
It's not functioning right now because we had so many robots hitting us that we had to turn it off. And I talked to our IT guy. We're trying to figure out a solution, and it's very frustrating to everybody. And some of you are new. We've got people who have been with us for a long time that are even more frustrated appropriately. But we were just getting attacked. I mean, you guys see on the YouTube channel, it was much easier in life flying under the radar. None of you knew I existed. Well, probably the worst thing I did was the Bitcoin thumbnail, Bitcoin to 23,000. That was brought in all the Bitcoin and vector coin robots. I must have deleted 30 of those off the channel this morning.
Yeah, that was getting crazy.
Yeah, I took a lot off. I know you have, and Mason has, and we've done all that. So, but yeah, so yeah, that would be really nice. I won't. We have something else that I'm not gonna mention anything because that's like no. I won't say it. I'll talk about staff, but I've been considering something else. And I just want to put out there, it seems that with the iframe inside of WaveTech is a lot easier just to launch a new browser. I think you folks have probably already found that out for a while. Yeah, Matt, the reason... the reason for no BTC, because we can't find a good data source. We've looked through all kinds of stuff that we can get into our environment. There's data sources out there, but everything we've looked at, which is really disappointing to me, our primary vendor that we use is an institutional vendor. They don't do Bitcoin. I don't know why, and I'm on their early list to be notified. If they would just put Bitcoin in, we could just put it on all of our platforms. You can, for instance, I've got WaveTech up here. I think if you put in crypto-BTC, you'll get nothing. Or you could put in I think let me try it again. It might be just crypto BTC. We've tried a bunch of these. I'm not sure what the symbols are. Nope, that's not it.
Hey Bob, it is crypto-BTC. It sometimes has trouble picking it up.
Okay. I mean, maybe I was being too impatient. Yeah.
You misspelled it if you didn't put the.
I did.
Well, does it start with the BTC first?
No.
I'm sorry, I was answering some stuff on YouTube, but it's not BTC first?
I don't think so.
Hey Bob, if you click on the message log icon there, and you scroll to the bottom, I think you already have it spelled out over there. You can just copy and paste it. Yeah, right above that message log. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nope.
Not in this account. I'm in a different account. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there are some symbols in there. I think we had like 100. And I don't think we need 100. I think probably all we need is that. Hey, we're hanging out here, so I haven't seen how the market's trading. We could do that for a minute, I guess. Up 158.32 on the futures are trading. Here's Russell. SPX is at 36.35. So we took out last week's high here. What was the high today? 42. So we came right in there. I was going to point out something I thought was kind of interesting. Right when things are starting to feel good, we're going to have one of the things I'll be talking about tonight is we're getting our RTX sell signal today. So this thing blew through, and I'm trying to see, and I talked about this. We got one in the Russell. This has been happening lately, and there are patterns that show up that I talk a lot about, in that these signals have been pretty good, but we saw one when that crazy election week 5 gaps in a row happened. We got a double RXT sell, and it kind of went sideways, but we still had an upward bias. The Russell's so strong right now. We do have a 0.65, 0.70. You can see the PPMs are going crazy here. So Russell is just exploding. And before we got started today, I brought up this trade here. I believe this is it. Yeah, this is the long IW. Let me just make sure I've got the right one here. Yeah, this is IWM long and long the PSQ. So this is a ratio trade. So this is like being short the NASDAQ, and that thing's just a rocket ship. So it's definitely, that trade is a non-directional trade and will work even if the market goes down, most likely. But we're seeing it again, right? NASDAQ up 142, Russell up 187. So we are getting some crazy numbers across the board. So NASDAQ is traded up. And I just talked about this in last night's video, is NASDAQ is getting up to that, toward that top end of this little narrow band. And this is exactly what we needed to happen to get the market grid to actually turn and angle back up and start to expand. We're also seeing PPM 1 is just cut right through today. We've got 15 minutes to go, so this is probably going to be a valid trade here, and we'll probably see this thing turn up for sure. You got crude oil up 1.3. I mean, the energy sector's been going crazy. There's just a lot of stuff going on out there. It's a pretty crazy world.
Hey, Bob, is there any way we can get that VPM rangefinder built into PortfolioXpert?
Something we're actually working on an outside software that we're working on it. We're going to bring in our whole database and just run the calcs. The way I've been doing it now, I don't have it loaded up here, is I had somebody build a radar screen for me on, the way that we're posting it on the PortfolioXpert site. It's really wonky as heck. It's a pain in the butt, but I wanted to get it out there. I had to cut back the list. We were getting, the bigger the list got, the more errors we got. And so we cut it back to a minimum list, and it seems to be working. But the other night, on Sunday night, Monday, I must have rebooted 50 times and reran everything, and I couldn't get it to calculate right. I have no idea. Talked to the people that programmed the thing for me, was unable to get anything there. One guy's pointing the finger at the other guy. It's a classic. If you have a software issue, they always tell you it's, the software guys tell you it's hardware. Hardware guys tell you it's software. In this case, it's TradeStation's fault, not my fault. But it goes both ways. And I've got a couple different pieces that I put together to generate the HTML for the website at the moment. But the goal will be to actually get that built in. And we got a couple really good things going. I've got some meetings in early December that we're actually trying to put some things together to rebuild the platform, to do some things. So that's so I wish. I actually have some working on that, because one guy said, the heck with TradeStation, let's just build it and let's just do our own calcs, and then we know that everything's going to be right. So that is the plan.
Yeah, it's good when you own the software and you can just run it on your own platform. No doubt about that. See, I've been hanging around TradeStation since 1992. Jay's first experience of working for me and working in the sweatshop, right, Jay?
Yeah, back in the day. Oh yeah, there was some crazy times with that.
So we've been hanging around TradeStation for a very long time, and they've actually, they're because of that situation is what made me realize I just build my own shit. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm just going to build my own, and that's how we got there. But it's pretty complex, especially real time. The plan is to take PortfolioXpert to the next level, have a much better charting environment, also make it real time, so when you bring up your portfolios, you'll be able to see exactly what they're doing as the markets are trading. I would like to see a multinational environment. These are my dreams that I'm presenting, and ultimately all orders being to be routed to multiple custodians, so that you're not just stuck with, maybe some strategies could be international strategies that maybe you could use interactive, might work. They might be the most flexible, but in some cases you might need to route orders directly to a different custodian. And, so that's more or less the type of things that, that we're looking at. And that's the goal, is to make a real-time platform and also fully automated trading capabilities and broker-dealer agnostic, meaning, it just doesn't go to one dealer, that's my ultimate goal, and fractional shares and all that. And then the goal is for you to build some robo strategies that are out there, then ultimately to be able to give you the ability to do what you're doing now and put your own symbols, build your own infrastructure, and having a fairly decent interaction on the UI, on the user interface, that it's actually sees that you made a mistake and gives you correction, like you guys are doing for me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
One of the things I was going to ask, because I know I'm going to butcher it if I try to explain it on YouTube. Tan is asking, sometimes due to the after hours or before hours movement, we are unable to get the closing prices as shown, or like when the order comes through. How is that handled? And like I said, I understand it a little bit, but I may butcher trying to explain it properly.
Yeah, so, well, it's end of day. The orders that we expect you to, the way that the system, when you look at, put PortfolioXpert back up while I answer this. When you're looking at the system itself, it's going to generate orders for, like when the servers run tonight. The orders are to be executed on the next open. So we're EOD, or end of day software. So what you're going to end up with then is the ability to execute on the next known data point. So we have end of day. So the next data, so you have open, high, low, close, and end of day. The next data point, if we tell you to buy or sell today, the next data point that the software is going to execute, and where the track records and where everything is being executed, is the next known data point, which is the next open. In the case of a mutual fund, it goes from NAV to NAV, which is basically close to close. And everything that you build in the system, everything that you have in the system is actually based on that. The best way to put this, it knows all those errors. It actually knows how to change some position sizing. We know we're kind of shooting at a moving target tomorrow morning. It's even going to be higher or lower. So we actually count on it being higher. So we downsize the position so we don't overspend the money. So there's a little bit of a error factor being built in. So it's sort of like lobbing a rock over, and it's going to land maybe higher one time, and the next time it's going to be lower. But as you go through multiple trades, what happens is that slippage, or that miss of that difference between today's close and tomorrow's opening, starts to normalize as more and more transactions happen. So if you have a portfolio with 20 symbols in it, when you go over a course of a period of time, let's just say 1 year, all of that, some better, some worse, is going to normalize. And in fact, what we found, I know Dave, my original partner, I did a white paper on this a long time ago. I saw it around in the last 6 months. But that scenario, what happens is that when it normalized, you actually ended up, it was net positive just by a little bit. So once you had a certain amount of trades, enough to get normalized, and that's what happens. So when you hang around quants, we like to use words like normalize, somewhat, which means it's a variable, okay? So it's somewhat equal or greater than or equal to. So when you start to get into these numbers, the more transactions that you go through, that's why the back tests are really handy to build, because it does all that. That whole simulation process is happening, and that's why we set it back so you have at least a 5-year look back, so you get enough of those transactions to start to normalize, and you can start to see in the returns that normalization. Okay, so that's a long answer. So I see JB's also, so the goal is basically to all the orders, And I even want ultimately to have, just if you're just researching a stock and you want to buy it, just pump it in there. My goal is to make, I'm trying to do some things. The goal is to make 2 acquisitions, one for our order routing company and the other one for a reporting company, which will give us the ability to do all the accounting and allocations and everything, and then have basically something you could hand to a CPA or import into a tax situation, and everything's there. So really actually going from having the platform of doing the portfolios and modeling them to actually reporting, trading, and reconciling the entire thing down to professional level. So I originally started off with a virtual portfolio manager, and now we're going to the virtual professional advisor is it. And it's an advisor that you will have control over. That's something that hopefully in the next 6 months or a year you'll be hearing more about, because that is the next level. When I talk about taking this platform to the next level, that's truly the next level. And where the world's going, and especially, like I said earlier, everything we're seeing happen in the world is actually a restructuring or the great reset, right? So it's interesting that 2020 is is the reset number. Somebody told me that in Back to the Future, that what's his name, Doc, whatever his name is.
Doc Brown.
Yeah, he goes, whatever you do not go to 2020.
Yeah, I told you about that. There was a meme. Yeah, someone had done that where him and Marty were in the DeLorean. He's like, whatever you do, don't set the date to 2020.
Yeah, I can see why now. Yep, it's pretty interesting. So anyway, folks, thanks for hanging out. We had, I think everybody was hanging out were people that actually care to hang out, so that's cool. Let's go back to the markets. Let's hang out for the close. And I'm glad to answer any questions you folks have on anything on the Zoom stuff that we're doing here. So don't hesitate to. Don't have to talk about markets. I'm just filling time. I'm going to watch the close. 6 minutes to go anyway. And I did see a question on confused how could you determine your information like Russell could still go higher when it breaks RTX like it did yesterday. Had a lot to do with momentum, and had also to do the RTX daily. That's actually I hate when people say that's a really good question, but it really is. But if we go to Russell here, we got the RTX, and what was really building here was this weekly momentum is just it's at a level where it's going to satisfy the weekly grid. So within the grids themselves, and I'm just trying to get to hopefully this will work. I'm not sure anything works. It took forever for this to come up. I'm just trying to get to my account, but nothing seems to want to work on this page here. What I was going to show you is I was going to bring up the market grid here. Okay, it came up finally. All right, so here's the market grid. Look, I believe the Russell is here. Did I already go by it so quickly?
I think it's at the top.
Yeah, I think you're right. There it is. So the weekly, so this is, we go from market grid and looking at those numbers and getting RTX signal, and then we have to look at the matrix. And this is what I was talking about last night, this 1850, on the video last night, 1857 to 1879. If we look at what's printed here today, the high has been 1862, so we went just above R3 weekly. It's one of those things, and the reason why I made that comment last night was because of the momentum and what's going on. There's only 4 bars. We have, my best bet is that we have one more week up in this Russell yet. And then maybe those spreads will correct. Maybe we'll get something there. But we're going to have RX, that's one of the things I'll be doing here in a few hours, is looking exactly what the RXT, there's a number of them out there today. This is one of those days. And sometimes that's why I put it on the video, is that I was pretty sure that we'd see it. And I started talking about this earlier. If I take this off screen and we go back to the Russell Daily here, we've seen this before, going back to that week where we gapped 5 times higher. We saw 2 RXT sells in the same week. We've seen it in Tesla. We've seen it in markets that hit certain momentum levels. And that was one of the things that was driving me yesterday, going, hey, this was a weekly momentum. If you look at PPM2 right now, it's just, this is a daily chart I've got up here. This is really like super acceleration. 0.70 is a big number for PPM2 on a daily symbol. So yeah, it was just one of those things where I could see that the RX, the R3, maybe RXT weekly on the Russell was going to be in play. I don't know how to explain it other than that, and that's why I put it on the video, and I didn't scream, hey, Russell is a sell today. Now, is it relevant today on the dailies? That's what I'll go through all the analysis tonight, take a look at it. I'll make a call. I'm not bashful. People are still beating me for my video 3 weeks ago. And anyway, that's definitely what I'll determine tonight. And remember, you guys, tonight's video is the last video for the week until next Sunday night. And just while I'm chatting, and like I said, if you guys feel free to interrupt if you have any questions, but my plan is I always take the last 2 weeks of the year off, Christmas time. I'm going to do something, I'm not sure what this year, but I will let you know long ahead of time. I think we were looking at it today. It's nothing will change until the week after the 20, coming into the week, I think, of the 21st. And then and I'll do my best to show up. It's the only time of the year I take off. So I pretty much work, I would say minimum 6 days a week, but it's more like 7. So yeah, so I'm just looking at a calendar here. I think it's the week. The bell, and it's legit. Okay. Yeah, so here we go. Russell at 53. SPX 35, that's the new high close over last week's high. We got 45 out there, I think 42 high. And then yeah, quite the day. What'd we do? Industrial's up 454, 30,000. I'm gonna go to all-time high, Dow Jones, 30,045. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, so that week will be I guess it's coming the week of the 21st, Christmas week, and the week after that. Typically, I'll come in the following week, which would be the 4th of January of 2021. So we'll figure it out. You know, I'll do some videos to fill in gaps. I just won't be doing daily videos, but I will most likely do something. I'm going to figure out what kind of remote situation I can do. Tell Elon Musk to get his new system up as soon as he can with the new Sparklight or Starlight. That will help me a lot. So, okay. Any other questions finally for? Zoom? Anybody? I feel like Ferris Bueller. Anyone? All right.
Yeah, they're just everyone's saying have a happy Thanksgiving and thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you
Hey,
guys.
before we lose you real quick question for you. Since you've already got the chart up as it stands, I wanted to get your perspective on Tesla and what you think about it just driving forward to 150 and beyond.
Yeah, Tesla's good that I had the monthly up here. RXT on we're printing it right now 550.22. We printed through at 55. Last time we got a monthly RXT sell was over here at 603 on 831. So we did get our 2 month sideways. So yeah, you know, Tesla, what can you say? I mean, maybe this should be reframed as SpaceX. It looks more like a SpaceX launch. Only problem is I hope they don't land the boosters.
Absolutely right.
That would not be pretty. It looks really good on SpaceX, but you don't want to land this one. But yeah, so it is interesting because there's a lot of massive divergences and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's like, yeah. I thought it was crazy. I remember covering this on a live stream, and I remember going, well, we might get 426, 469. You know, and I think one of the situations obviously is this whole getting into the S&P 500. And I have not had a chance to look at this, but I think that the question has to be asked is what is the capitalization within that, and how much of the stock has to be bought to be positioned in that index. And so that I think a lot of this trade is trying to front run that trade. And but I'm not, and I don't know that if it's being overplayed or not. So how much is going to have to be bought by all the indexes and all the folks that are in there that have to rebalance with those index strategies. And probably 50 or 60% of the world is indexed, right? So it's potentially a big deal. I just don't know what that number is.
Hey Bob, so looking at that, the database, even on a daily, on a weekly, looking at the strength of the PPMs and that chart there, they probably wouldn't do anything, I don't think, would they? Like, it doesn't look like they would start to say, oh, it's looking a bit high, a bit frothy, but we won't be selling off at all.
Yeah, no, that's yes. I can tell you've been hanging around me for a while now. But yeah, so we're getting an RXT sell on Tesla daily, actually. But we had one over here, and it did kind of go sideways. And the RXT sell, by the way, just suggests R2 to maybe an STX or S2 STX. So this is tomorrow's numbers that we're already looking at here on Tesla Daily that I have on the screen here. So this is no big deal. 543, 537, extreme 531. That's nothing, right? I guess that would take away most of the gain from today, not quite. 2/3 of it. 50% of this thing would be $15. That'll put us, maybe S2, maybe an S2 move tomorrow. But it's not that. I think the STX sell or the RTX sell or RTX sell or the STX buy is being overplayed like this is a major short signal. Now it was a major short signal back over here on 9.5, but this was also the split. This was the Apple split. This was the Tesla split. So that's what happened there. And then when we see this kind of stuff like today, we're likely to pause. I mean, after what we've seen, it's interesting that we're getting SPX is getting a sell signal, and it's happening. Remember this spike on the first vaccine news? This is right where this is still the magic number, 3645. We printed today 3642. I can't imagine we won't get through that number. Question is, will we hold above it? Is there new trend? PPMs are turning up, but PPM 1 is at trend level, but the support levels are down. And what Wayne was suggesting is that just the way the PPMs are all accelerating, you're not going to see any major like flip reversal pattern from these kind of levels anyway. That's usually not what it looks like. And it also goes through with all the stuff I've been talking about on this database. And I'm just flipping this over to the daily symbols here real quick, is that on the WaveTech database, and why I cover this thing, is that what we're looking at, thought I clicked on this, 1 second. When we look at the rotation that's going on there, we've got all 12 sectors long. We've got 81% of the groups, or 72% of all the symbols that are out there are in there and are long. And over here is the key number. The current average duration is basically 9.926. We're roughly duration filled is 24.27%. So we're really not actually that long in the tooth or that overbought here yet. So it tells us that the markets are going to continue to grind out. And, and I've argued this all summer long, you folks, and I know most of you watched the channel for a while, all the WaveTech folks and all that, but we have 11,852 symbols that are in trend mode, and that's why these numbers mean something, that they're still in trend mode for like 40 days. Some of these are new symbols that have come on, so there gets a refresh mode. And so this number will never make it to 40. The average, the current duration number won't make it to 40, but it will make it to probably 32, 34. It'll get about 60 to 75% of the duration fulfilled. At that time, that's when I'll be talking about, okay, we're a little bit overbought here. We're not overbought at all. And, it still is interesting as heck to me, is that anytime I do thumbnails that say market's going to break out or go higher, my views drop by at least 40%. If I say the market's going to go over, I'll get 20 or 30,000 views on a video. And there's just such a bias. People don't want to believe this thing. And that in itself, for me, from just that, I gain so much from the channel and reading comments and stuff that are out there. Even the trolls bring some value. And, I just, this is why I talk about this stuff, and it goes over on a weekly level as well. We're at 60. What is this number? 67%. But when we look at the weekly trends, so that there's 11,000 plus symbols that are long on a weekly, and this would be pre-analysis. I guess I do have this recorded. I'll just clip this out and put it in the video tonight. But the duration fulfilled on a weekly basis right now is about 22%. So that extrapolates out from where we are currently to, that's the average holding on a weekly is 202 days. So you're looking at anywhere minimum of probably 4 months, but it's probably 6 or 8 months forward looking that these, not all of these trends are going to work, but this thing is, you know, this is my life that you have on the screen here, and I've watched every movement of this. And if I could have bought and sold call options or bought puts on the database, I would have killed it this year, especially when we were up at 90%. We went from 90% down to, I think, 12% or something ridiculous on a short-term basis. But when we get to this level on an intermediate, these are longer-term trends, and this just tells us that we're going to have, there's forward-looking expectations are bullish. Doesn't mean that the wheels couldn't come off, some catastrophe. You know, people call 2008, you know, like, you know, some kind of black swan. It couldn't be, because I actually predicted it pretty well, what was happening. Didn't predict the crash, but I definitely called it. Our database was in cash coming into 2008, and we were selling long before all this stuff rolled over. And that was the year that with the institutional community that I got to be quite popular. But the point of it wasn't me. It was reading this data. It was looking at the database and figuring out what was going out and extrapolating out. So I get to do that every night for you folks, and I appreciate that. And anyway, long answer, be careful. Yeah, so looks like it's time to quit. I really appreciate everybody showing up, and a couple of you came in. I'm letting somebody else in the meeting. Just so you know, John, we've been going. We're about to quit here, so you're coming in at the end of the meeting. But shortly after I quit this meeting, there will be a replay on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it there. I think it comes on pretty quick. It's almost instantaneous. So, you know, feel free to be able to do that. So, okay, one last question. Anybody?
You're the GOAT, Bob. No question, though.
Thank you, Andrew. Hey, at least it's not the middle of the night this time when we're hanging out.
Yeah, I was trying to send you guys a super chat. I don't know why it's not going through, though.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's okay. You don't need to do that, man. It's all good. You know, I'm excited about a lot of stuff. It's amazing. This world's amazing we live in. It's crazy and amazing at the same time.
Hey Bob, it's Richie here from Berlin. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I have a question about the duration of the positions. You just mentioned that their average duration might be whatever 200 days or something like that.
Right.
How does that duration kind of adapt to the changing times that we're just going through with elections and COVID situations?
Yeah. Believe it or not, this stuff is it doesn't look any different to me. It's not. These durations and all these numbers are derived from 40-year database. So this was something when I was talking earlier about the normalization of a portfolio, that all of these symbols, a lot of these symbols have been around. Some of the newer symbols, there's not that many of them, might affect some of the duration, maybe some of the numbers. But for the most part, this is a very mature data environment, lots of data points. I think every day, just on calculations that this thing does, is like 10,600,000 calculations will happen at 5:30 tonight, and put everything back into, some kind of format that you folks can see, a simple buy and sell type signal. But the data itself is very normalized, is the best way to put it. There are the characteristics. I've not seen it change. The only thing I would say that would go play into what you're talking about is the daily or the short term has really been more dynamic than I've ever seen it in any other time. The intermediate, if you go back, there's some videos. I think our intermediate database started coming in June and July. I started talking about forward-looking markets going higher. Boy, did I get my ass beat on that stuff, right?
Performer.
Yes, looks like, as I looked at, like we said a minute ago, Dow Jones hit 30,000. So, but it's about the data. It's about having the confidence that I have to be able to talk like this stuff that I do. And that's why, I'm just thrilled that you guys have this platform. I mean that. I know that sounds maybe corny. I know you're paying me for it, but it's I think when you learn how to use this and formulate your investments around it, you end up with highly confident. It's somebody made. It's like, I'm one of those guys. Like I watched him last night, but I'm not a huge Tom Brady fan, right? But I would tell you, Tom Brady is a pro, and there's other guys like, some quarterbacks that have been around forever. And when you watch him play, you're just like, yeah. The guy just knows how to read the defense and where to throw the ball, and the precision's crazy. That's what I have with the database, and that's what you guys get when you start to watch this stuff and little things come. And that's why I can't wait for you folks to watch it long enough that you start to bring in those same, that you're going to find things that I didn't see. And I do have a major project that I want to do, where I'm going to do some really deep machine learning, data mining, whatever you want to call it, on looking at this database, because that database and all those data points are an absolute gold mine. I know. I feel like I'm sitting on the biggest gold mine in the world. And
Get Palantir in there.
yeah.
I guess there's been enough wars and crashes and whatever in the past that it's just another blip in the in the database.
When just look at this. This year is a good example of how fast the daily models flipped. Still, literally, the 26th we saw a huge tranche of orders on March 26th, 3 days after the low. It was like, really? This thing's like, grabbing double handfuls of everything it can find, right? And by April 1st, it was like just crazy, first week of April. And you thought, man, is this, meanwhile, I'm putting, this is what drives my analysis, and I'm putting this out on the internet. And people are going, Grandpa, go retire, all this kind of stuff, but, it all ended up to play out because of the metrics and what's going on behind this database. So, this is a real deal here. And I know it's so easy on the internet there's so much crud out there. And I'm not saying this is a holy grail. I'm just telling you, this has been used for a lot of money. And I enjoy the YouTube channel. I actually figured out something about 10 days ago, cut my daily production time in half. I'm like so thrilled. I could actually, I shouldn't tell you guys, I could cover more markets, but it's just like, I figured out something on the production of the videos that have just saved me. I was starting to experience, I was on the edge of burnout, and that was, it revitalized me. And I've got some other things that I'm working on that will streamline some things even more. But, but the real goal here is not YouTube videos, right? It's getting this technology in the hands of people that understand it, and to build it out, and to make sure that you can, actually do something with this to help your investments. And that's it.
I remember picking you up. I guess it was pretty close to March, and I was like, "What is this guy talking about?"
I'm sure.
And I just kept watching, and then the classes and the webcasts and the trainings and stuff like that. And now it's like totally follow everything that you're talking about by resistance levels and RXTs and PPPs and all the rest.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
No, it's Bob's world, you know.
I can attest to that too, Bob.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, Andrew.
Yeah, you just like, especially from the beginning. I don't know, like I think like people just hate because they want to, turn like whatever like $500 they have into like 50,000 in like 10 seconds, and think that you like everything you say is just like the gospel when you're just giving us the right momentum and direction and explaining the technicals.
Well, I'll tell you, I did something, and I'm sure hopefully he'll hear it, but there was a guy that was really, really super upset, okay? And I saw him on a thread on the channel. I reached out to him, and I did a private Zoom meeting with him on Saturday morning for an hour and a half. And I did it because I wanted to, he said some things, and I can tell that I told him, and I appreciate him taking the time, and it was really a good meeting between us. He's a 36-year-old guy. I told him, you're the guy I'm trying to help. That's what I want. But it was interesting because I told him I could tell the difference between maybe a misinterpretation or something that was really eating at him versus a troll. A troll's just, like you said, Andrew, he just wants to be angry. There's plenty of people on the planet right now that just want to be angry.
Yeah, for sure.
But this guy he was angry, but he had reasons for being angry, and I could tell. And I said, hey, send me an email, and let's I'll do a private Zoom meeting. Well, that was like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, and a week ago Saturday, the internet in the entire northern Arizona was out for 12 hours, so I couldn't do the meeting. So, but the point of all that, and I that's why I do these live streams, the Zooms. I think what we're going to do. We're still going to do some stuff like we're simulcasting on YouTube, but we're going to do some Zoom only stuff and really dig in because I guess maybe it's a good thing, but we're trying to figure out how to get the community at this next level and to be
I'd
able.
pay for that too. I'm sure other people would if you did like almost like $10 a class or $15 a class. Like I would pay to come in and be able to talk to you and
yeah, and actually just supporting being the software is good enough. That's the best. I tell everybody that's the best way. WaveTech will get you in. Experts next level. So it's just all there, and I will support the community. WaveTech is going to get turned into a really cool way. We've actually got some UI people looking at this thing because the engine's there. It just needs to have better charting, better presentation, right? And everything's there. It needs to be not rebuilt from a output, but it needs, the user interface needs to be friendlier and do some things, and it's an awesome product. So, that's one of the things that's kind of working in the background. We've actually got a small team of people looking at how to do that. And that, like I said, I don't want to be TradingView. TradingView is awesome. TradeStation is actually kind of old school compared to some of the web apps that are out there now. And, but that's the best thing, and like I said, if you're a customer, you don't need the super chat, but it's all good.
I'm gonna sign up soon. Like my routine right now, I'm sure everyone has their routine watching your videos in the morning or maybe in the afternoon whenever they see it. Like my routine, 4:30, wake up, I go to the gym. On my way home, I watch you, and then I'm prepped for the morning.
Yeah.
And I make my trades based off of your prep video.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw somebody comment somewhere they went long to triple Qs this morning, TQs, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty aggressive, but ends up being a good trade. So it's just like, yeah, I didn't put that one on. That was like, I don't know, I don't think I can buy the TQs, but it turns out that Nasdaq was lagging and came back, came on pretty good by the end of the session. So that was a decent trade. I would have probably stuck with the S&P or Russell trades, but leveraged on that side if I was going to do something. That would have been the place to go. So, all right.
Hey, Bob.
Best money you spend, Andrew. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
Quick question, then I take it that Trading View projects will be benched till 2021. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. I think somebody said it. I'd rather have everything on my that's relative to what I'm doing on my platform. I spent a lot of time, and I actually worked on a project. I need to reach out and see if we can figure out there is availability of a lot of my stuff on a platform. I just never announced it, and I need to reach out to one of the partners there, and we need to figure it out because my biggest issue is bifurcating my business, and and I want to stay focused on what I really want to do, which is the whole portfolio thing, and that's more or less what I'm focused on. The indicators and all that stuff is really good, and I would like to have them out there. But 2021 is right. I haven't talked to Sam for a while. I didn't see him on. Sometimes he'll show up at our live streams. I didn't see him around today, I don't think. But yeah, I just gotta. He's easy to motivate. He motivates with the almighty dollar. If I put him on a job, and he'll work. He'll be glad to work on it. And he and I've collaborated for 35 years. So I mean, it's a good one. But yeah, I still haven't figured out on the trading view what to do there.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it. So thanks again for watching and hanging out and being subscribers, all that good stuff. And
thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Have a great Thanksgiving, you and Jay.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good
Thanks,
week.
guys.
Yes, thank you. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving too. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bob, Jay. Same to you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they're probably not. Richard's probably not going to be doing that in Germany.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
Or, well, Wayne, correct. You might have
Yes.
an American friend somewhere down there wants to do
The
it.
closest we'll get to is a chicken.
Yeah, but you can't go more than 3 kilometers away from your house, right?
No, we're back. We're okay here in Queensland. We're fine. That they've changed that now. We're all
Oh,
good.
because I didn't know you were in Queensland. I have a buddy in Melbourne. Last I heard from him, they couldn't hardly leave the house.
Yeah, that's like being in a prison camp down there, I think.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, I don't know what the community is. It's kind of south of the city, kind of down in the harbor. I don't know what direction it would be, but anyway.
Yeah, pretty much the whole Victoria was locked down. So,
Yeah.
but they're just coming out of it now.
Yeah, I need to reach out to him. Yeah, he said they were stopped like 3 times just trying to go to the grocery store, make sure they weren't too far away from their house. So it was ridiculous.
Yep, that's it. What was interesting, but in the UK, you were allowed to go 5 miles, and in Victoria, you're only allowed 5 kilometres.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the good news in Arizona, we got lots of heat, and no one seems to give a shit here. And it's like you wouldn't know there's anything going on. It doesn't look or act any different. There's a few things, but very, very little. And yeah, so it's sort of interesting. You know, I mean, we're still, Jay's down in the valley. I'm up in the low mountains in central Arizona, and I mean, it's still 65, 75 up here every day. So we're not anything. Yeah. So yeah, thanks everybody for on YouTube. Appreciate it. And yeah, so like I said, no live chat tomorrow. We'll be video tonight, and then off and next time I'll talk to you folks will be on Sunday night. Yeah, thanks, Elaine. Appreciate it over on YouTube. All right, folks, we're gonna stop it.
Peace.
All right, take care now.